maybe you could just update me kind of where we are in the process of this week. What have you guys done so far, and how many guys have you talked to?
Yeah, so at this point we've probably, and I can't give you an exact number, but approximately about 65 players at this point in time. And we'll get into, it's probably a little bit more than 65 actually, because I think the final number will be 77 or 78 players that we'll have met with by the time the week's over this week. So it's been a long process, but informative, extremely informative. It's extremely helpful to spend that time with those players for sure.
Coming into this week, what would you say some of the goals were for you guys?
Yeah, at this point we have pretty good information, pretty reliable information about a lot of the players at this point in time. So we're really kind of coming in with some players have some red flags that we're trying to just kind of get to the bottom of. Some you're just kind of confirming what you originally thought, and it's kind of formality. So each kid is a little bit different in what you're trying to find out. Some it might be based on injury background. Each, like I said, each player is a little bit different. The focus is a little bit different for each of them. But coming in, we have a little bit of a plan amongst the group just to make sure that we hit all the areas we targeted during our meetings.
With 77 interviews on the docket for this week, what are some things a prospect can do to maybe stand out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for them because some of them, everyone's personality is a little bit different. So those players that have a little bit more of an outgoing personality have an opportunity to give you a little bit more. So you have to keep that all in mind, and that everyone is a little bit different, and you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's language barriers. There's a lot of things come into play. So it's just an opportunity for them to sell themselves a little bit more. And obviously, some people are better salesmen than other, but also you can't be fooled by that. So we have to kind of keep it all in check.
Last year it was a top 5 pick, number 4 overall. This year it's 3 picks between 19 and 44. Does that change anything the way you guys approach this, or is it just kind of make your list?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we still have to be just be aware of what's ahead of us, and have our thresholds of where we would like to move up, possibly if that presents itself as an opportunity, and maybe also move back and acquire additional picks, and similar to what we did last year. So those are things that you have to stay sharp, and Pierre's always having conversations, and I'm feeding him information based upon what our staff knows, and so we try to be ready as much as we can to pull the trigger on any of those deals. So there are conversations taking place now as we go along, and they'll continue to grow. And for us, we have 3 assets that give us some flexibility, and obviously it's always harder to move up than to move back. Those are tough deals to make, but not impossible. Like I said, every year is a little different and presents new challenges and new opportunities. So we'll be ready for whatever comes our way.
There's 2 days left here at the Combine. What's the rest of this week look like for you guys?
Yeah, we'll finish off our interviews tomorrow. In the meantime, we do have certain players meeting with our strength and conditioning coach and Chris Schwartz, just doing some checks. And then Saturday, all 3 of our strength and conditioning coaches will be in with Rob and Jeremy, also coming in with Chris and myself, who will stick around and monitor some of the testing that's going on, physical testing that goes on Saturday. It's exactly like scouting. It's nice to be here in person and be able to see for yourself exactly what's going on, and the surroundings that you don't get to see on a videotape. And there's little intricacies of scouting that come into play, I feel, that are important. So our strength and conditioning team will report back to myself, and I'll give that information on to the scouting staff, and that could come into play as far as deciding where certain players land on our list.
It's 3 weeks tomorrow that the NHL draft kicks off. Are you starting to feel maybe a little excitement among the team and the guys?
Oh, I think the Combine does that for you. I mean, kind of the first step is when you get into Ottawa and do our final list. which is really not final, but it's the end of year list. And so that's when it kind of ramps up. I feel like the excitement starts to grow, and the staff, you can feel that, you know, it kind of hits a little bit of a valley at the end because it's been a long grind going to all those games. But then it ramps up again. You start climbing the other side of it with excitement as you know, build that list, and then get to the combine and get that information and their testing, and then try to make sure, you know, finalize the list and have it ready, and then also take into account all kinds of, you know, trade opportunities or movement that could take place over the next few weeks. Which is, you know, it also involves, that part involves Pierre a lot more as well, and so that part's exciting as well, because it's kind of like another level of helping the Ottawa Senators get back to where we want to be.